I think it's very important for us to be mindful with the energy we bring into each day. If you're waking up, and of course, every single day when we wake up, sometimes we feel good, sometimes we feel bad. But I feel like it's just important for us, within those moments, be mindful enough to choose a more positive emotion that can translate into us having a good day. For example, if I feel bad, but if I feel not like myself, which where we have some of those days, I feel like it's my job, it's our job to instill positivity within feeling not like myself. Because one thing I've realized is your words, your words and your thoughts, and how you really express yourself in terms of those two will set you up for your day. The energy you bring when you first wake up and the thoughts and ideas you have in regards to the energy flow of your life, and whether if it's going to be a good day or a bad day, you have control over that. For example, I believe it's good for you to always move with a positive conscience, always just move with a positive perspective. In saying you're going to have a good day, you set that intention for the day. This is not to say that you should have expectations for your day to go a certain way, because I feel like expectations can leave you disappointed. But this is to say that really, regardless of whatever happens in the day, you are in control of how it's going to impact you. You get to decide the energy you bring. And if you take it on with a positive perspective, anything and everything with a positive perspective that best accommodates you and your own peace, you're only going to flow with more positivity. In regards to if you did the complete opposite and, let's say, had low energy going into the day and was just like, that's going to reflect your day. I'm not saying you just have to be happy, jolly all day, every day, because nobody's like that. I'm not like that. But it's to say that in order to have a positive perspective and have your day be more positive, and I mean positive in terms of how you internalize it, you have to instill yourself with that positivity, not only within your energy, but within your words. By being like, I'm going to have a good day today. No matter what happens, it's going to be all good. At least I get to experience this, that. I'm here, I'm alive, I'm breathing, I'm well. What's there to complain about? Even if there is something that comes up that may make me want to complain and be in a bad mood, I get to choose if I get to allow that to have such a significant impact, a negative impact on my day and on my own mental. And it's funny that I'm talking about this because I had a moment yesterday where I had fashion show practice. As y'all know, I do run a fashion show in my school, right? Shows next week or some shit. Shows next week. But just going into the practice, I was out of alignment. I wasn't being conscious in the language I was speaking out into the universe. Like I was saying, I gotta get through this practice. That's the type of energy I was bringing. And that's not the type of energy that you want to bring to anything. Especially if you want it to go well or to be somewhat enjoyable for you. But I was just bringing a low vibrational energy. And within that practice, it only led me to have negative repercussions. To feel negative repercussions. And to not want to be there. To where a lot was just going on. I was stimulated by anything and everything. Not in the right ways either. And I just felt completely out of my element. I felt like my low vibrational energy got somewhat the best of me. And I believe it's all because of the energy I brought to it and the words I spoke into the universe. That's why it's important to be impeccable with your word. And being impeccable with your word is really what I've been talking about. Being mindful, being aware of the words you speak into the universe, and to be impeccable with your word. This was part of the book called The Four Agreements, which I highly recommend each and every one of you read. I know maybe some of you don't read like that, but reading has changed my life for the better, and I just highly recommend that you read that book. Just try it out. But The first agreement was to be impeccable with your word. And so to be mindful and to be aware of the words you preach into the universe is going to have a vast impact on your life. So if you want the result, if you want to experience something nice, if you want to have a good experience within anything that you are doing or just experiencing in general, be impeccable with not only your word, be aware of the energy you bring and how moving with a wrong frequency, a negative frequency, that's just you saying, hey, look, I'm going to have a bad day today. I want this to go wrong. And I feel like it's a subconscious thing where we can preach negative things. We can preach negative things and put negative connotations and ideas and place them within our lives without even realizing it. And I feel like it's because also the world, it may be our surroundings too. It may be who we're surrounded by. You know, the world is just kind of filled with negativity, kind of flows off it. It really does. And I feel like that's caused us to build up habits that don't best suit us, that don't best suit our higher self and becoming more positive. So that's why it's so important to be mindful, so important to be within the present and to allow yourself to experience your day. It becomes less of a mental battle where you have self-conflicting issues with yourself. Instead, you just allow yourself to be free. You're more free. I feel like you're more free. You're more liberated to be you and to not allow your happiness be dictated by anything externally, but everything internally. And what you give to yourself, you know, the love you give to yourself, the perspective you give to yourself, the gratitude you give to the world and yourself. Because then again, everything externally, it is temporary. It is not forever. One thing that is forever is your spirit. And so you only want your spirit to be filled with positivity and not negativity. It's just a waste to spend your time, the limited time you have, giving your energy to negative things that are insignificant to your own happiness. So I feel like, again, by having a positive perspective, and by instilling love within yourself, life not only becomes easier, but you don't really have to rely on anything externally to give you or bring you a sense of joy, a sense of happiness, because you already have that instilled within yourself. And even within your energy, within the words that you preach, they speak out into the world, it accommodates that positive perspective and it reflects the flow of your life. You know, everything is an internal battle. Not everything's an internal battle, but I feel like most of our problems, most of our suffering, it comes down to everything internally, not externally. So I feel like just mastering our mind is the best thing that we could do for ourselves. That's something I'm still trying to do. That's something I've been trying to do for the past few weeks, is just master my mind. And not master it in a sense of control, in the sense of like trying to control my thoughts and all that, but in a sense to allow things that are out of my control to flow, as well as allowing my thoughts to flow, because sometimes I can overthink. Just allowing it to be, to not allow negative thoughts create a negative experience for me, just allowing them to be, and just to see them as thoughts, and to still within that, to have a positive mindset, to choose positivity. Once you only choose, I feel like, to be filled with that, it contributes to you being more happy and filled with abundance in your life, I would say. So, most important thing I can tell you within this is to give yourself a chance to be here and not live in reference to your thoughts and allowing your thoughts and your negative perspective to have such control over your life where it reflects in negative aspects. Yeah, so be mindful, be impeccable with your word, be aware of the energy you bring forth into your day, not just for your own sake, but for others too, because you don't want to just put your negative energy and your low energy onto somebody else who isn't deserving of that type of treatment, because then that just reflects bad on you and your part. That's the main thing. That's a big thing. Your energy and how you show up in the world, it plays a big role in regards to how you represent yourself. So you want to represent yourself in a more positive way and not have others around you be impacted by your energy in a negative way. It is important to be mindful of that. And then again, I want to say this again, you don't have to show up in the world just being happy all the time, because nobody else is. Nobody's just happy all the time. But to show up in a way that is most positive and that can help cater to you having more peace of mind, that's important. That's something that we should prioritize. Once we choose peace as a mindset and we only allow that to be something that we allow in our spirits, in our mind frame, in our, and how we think, once we only prioritize that, life becomes a little bit more easier to manage and operate, because you know what you're going to allow and you know what you're not going to allow. And you can actually be more fulfilled by that, by prioritizing your own peace and choosing to have it as a mentality, have it ingrained as your own mentality, because you're not going to allow anything externally, but especially yourself, be the reason why you can't find joy within your day, within your life, because you're going to be mindfully aware to pick and choose what you give your energy to, and to pick and choose how you show up in the world and what words you speak out into the world, because you're aware and you know it's going to reflect you if it's something negative, if it is something unbefitting to you.